Lifestyle Therapy.
Immediately just made it ignorant. Oh, I got my volume down. Hold on. I can't hear not a goddamn thing. Am I not plugged in? Oh, you muted, Red. You muted.
I mean,
There you go.
I always forget the damn mute button.
Hey, look, we both started off real ignorant. I love it.
Always behind. All right, welcome to Hostile Therapy on Thursdays, guys. Waiting for Raz. Sparky T. Where's Sparky T at?
Waiting for the crew.
Raz is getting home from work.
Gives me time to finish my coffee.
Did you get your workout in, man?
Oh man, amazing. I got this new app called, this isn't an endorsement at all. I have nothing to do with this app, but got this new app called Humanity, where it's supposed to help you age backwards. So it gives you your chronological age, how old you actually are, in real time, but it gives you your biological age to tell you how old your body is. You know what I'm saying? Like you may be 30 years old, but your body may be functioning at the rate and capacity of a 35-year-old, which means, you're closer to the grave than you are to, where you need to be. So it gives you tasks throughout the day to accomplish, meditation, cooking, cleaning, jogging, Pilates, yoga, to do, just your diet, nutrition, resting, the type of temperatures you're in, getting some natural sunlight, things that kind of make it like an achievement, kind of like a game to take care of yourself.
Right.
So I add that into my I still don't know how to pronounce it. My diet is Presbyterian now. You know what I'm saying? I'm only eating fish. I don't know the word. Presbyterian. Presbyterian.
You about to say you part of a church somewhere then, Presbyterian.
Presbydactyl.
It's a pescatarian.
There you go.
One of them. Chicken of the sea.
You just joined the church unknowingly.
I started the church.
Did it tell you how old that you are currently? I mean, not just the real age, but how old you're supposed to feel right now?
You're supposed to feel your current age. It tells you the age, your biological age, what your body actually reflects. Like when you get up in the morning, how do you feel? Do you feel like if you're 28, do you get up in the morning feeling like a 28-year-old?
No.
A lot of us don't, especially if you have a job you hate, especially if you're not eating breakfast in the morning. It's the most important fucking meal of the day, and you're skipping that shit for what?
I skip it all the time.
Stop.
I have a weird schedule, man.
You gotta get some. All you need is some vegetable or fruit. That's it.
My breakfast usually starts at like after 12.
I mean, if you want to do intermediate fasting, that's good too. But
that's what I call it. They finally gave it a word, and I'm glad. Thank you, science.
No, that's a word for me. I'll eat in a little bit. And you keep saying that to yourself throughout the course of the day. I'm eating a little bit. I'll eat when I'm.
I understand that.
5 o'clock and you eat.
Before we go any further, since we got a newbie up here, we're going to introduce Sparky T. Just tell us a little bit about yourself besides that dirty paper towel you call flag that you had in the background earlier. I had to get on you about. You didn't put the right flag in the back of your background, but that's okay. That's how we're going to start off. We're going to start off on a good note. Just tell us a little bit about yourself before we delve into these other comments. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute right now.
You're on mute. Everybody starting on mute.
There we go. I'm a diehard 49er fan. That's the best thing about me. Diehard 49ers. That's the little flag he claimed he was getting on me about. I'm a mama too. I do a couple of things. I own a box truck, so a 26-foot box truck. So I own a logistics company. I do that. I'm a realtor and I'm a notary. So I do a couple of things. Have a son that's fluent in Japanese, and I have a son that's going to get his pilot license.
That's great.
So we're a little diverse. I like to have a good time. I like to travel. The next place I want to go to Japan and Dubai. In Dubai, excuse me. I've been to Africa. I've been to Haiti. I used to live in Guam. So I've done a couple things, but there's a couple more places I want to see. So I'm real big on the travel. I think there's things that you learn when you go someplace that you can't learn in a book or on TV or stuff like that. It's all about the experience. So I'm just out here living life, trying to experience a whole bunch of stuff.
All right, great. So you about to experience something tonight with being the first night of you here on Hostile Therapy.
All right, I'm ready.
I was trying to wait for Raz to get on here a little bit early, but LT, you were here last show, and I'm gonna touch on this at the beginning of the show, and then we're gonna go to our normal festivities. Chris Styles, who was a part of the show, he passed away. The last show we had on, we found out during the show, and tragic event. Chris, very good guy, man. Hearing all the people talk about him at his funeral, which was this past Saturday, it did nothing but confirm a lot of things that I already knew about him and liked about him anyway. Chris, after the show would be over, me and Chris sometimes would talk. The intention was to talk for about 10 minutes. Just talking, I would just ask him, what do you think about the show? Tell me what you like and tell me what you hate about the show. And Chris, to his credit, he never would say anything bad. Even though I begged him, I'm like, please tell me so. I would feed him some bad stuff that I thought was bad about the show. And I could say, like, Chris, I don't think the show was funny enough. I don't think it was informative enough. I don't think I had enough information. Like, what do you think, Chris? And Chris would pretty much just repeat what I said. Like, you might be right. It might not have been as informative as you wanted. It might not have been as funny as you wanted. But you're getting better. And the sun will shine tomorrow. Chris always had something positive to say, no matter what. I could always count on Chris to say something positive and move me forward and help me progress. He always had a belief that this show was going to be great. So if I ever needed to pick me up, Chris was there for me. Anytime I had something pressing that I might need to talk about, Chris would talk. Chris had no problem. I didn't ask Chris to do any of this. Chris had no ulterior motive. Chris would just talk. Sometimes we talk for 2-3 hours. Now, mind you, I had the mindset it was only going to be for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And because I was hungry, usually after the show ended, because I was like, man, we just stressed out talking about these topics. It's gonna built my appetite up. So I'm ready to go. But Chris would give me words of encouragement. One of the main things I heard people talk about at the funeral, that Chris was always the first one to help out in a situation, and he was always the last one to leave to help out in a situation. Chris was always willing to talk at any time. And he would, like I said, he'd give me his ear at any time I needed it. He'd give me a positive, open ear anytime I needed it. The biggest regret I have is that we didn't get to meet and spend time with each other more, to really get to know him like that, like other people have. And if Chris's purpose, because I believe everybody has a purpose, if Chris's purpose was to inspire other people, then he lived out his mission. I appreciate God for introducing him for the short period that we got to meet each other. In that aspect, Chris was a beautiful person. I wish there were more people in this world like that. Chris, like I said, man, Chris was there for you anytime you need him, and he never ended any conversation with, "That's probably not going to work out, dog." He always end the conversation like, "It didn't work out today, but the sun will shine tomorrow. Something positive is going to come out of this. You'll see. Just take your time, work on it, and if you got the passion for it, it'll come to fruition." I had nothing. I have nothing bad I can even think about that Chris has ever said. If he ever said anything bad, it's because he repeated something you said, and then he changed it around and said, "Yeah, it might be bad today, but dog, people go through bad things all day. People go through storms all the time, but then the sun will come out tomorrow. You'll be better for it, and you'll learn from your mistakes." Yeah. So, LT, I know you didn't get to meet him, that long, short period. I don't know if y'all had any interactions of it. If you want to say anything on his behalf, man, but if you want to, go for it, man. If you want.
I wish I knew how to deal with death better. It's a very natural part of life. Um, it's not something we should fear. It's something we should honestly be grateful for. It makes us more grateful for life.
Right.
I was watching American. It was at the time we were watching this. I want to say, or yeah, the I want to say after we had got through with that episode or decided to end it. Me and my girlfriend had gotten back to watching a show we had been binging, American Gods. It's been out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You probably heard of it. And
Yeah.
one of the gods in there, an Egyptian god, Thoth, Ibis, who runs a mortuary, funeral home, he had a quote that I thought was very interesting. Human beings have this apathy, this fear of death. You know what I'm saying? It's really something they should embrace. We spend more time dead than we do alive. You know what
It's a
I'm
good
saying?
one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds morbid, but it's when I like dealing with that news and processing that, trying to just make sense of like I'm a lot younger, you know what I'm saying? I never got to, you know what I'm saying, experience as much life as Chris had. And in the few times that we got to talk, I could tell like not not even just from the gray in his beard, this is a man that has experienced life. This is a man that just had a sense of overall happiness with where he was at with it. As I was talking to one of my homegirls today, you know what I'm saying? Like she could hear that in my voice. And that's something I like to think, I pick up from the people I interact with. Like there would be times where we would be debating on this podcast. And even though he would have the opposite opinion, if he's going to leave it or medicate it, it's from a positive light. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's never attacking. He's never all offensive. He was kind. He was kind. He was just. And yeah, that would be my biggest regret too, is not getting to know him more, not getting to collaborate more, not getting to experience him more. But I'm glad that I did, because it makes me more appreciative for the life that I have. It was touched by him. So
Right. Which it does put in perspective the short amount of time all of us have here, and it's even shorter. Uh, Depends on when we go. Some people they go in their 20s or much younger than that, and so they don't. I don't believe no one doesn't live out their purpose. I believe everyone lives out their purpose. Sometimes it gets cut short to what you believe what your purpose is. Um, I think Chris did everything he was supposed to do while he was here, and he did it well. Um, and so for that, I appreciate for him for that. I appreciate, like I said, God put him in my life for the short amount of time we got to know each other. And if I would have to carry on anything from where I learned to Chris is to learn to be better at persevering. Because, like I said, everybody in this world, no matter who you pray to or what you believe in, everybody in this world is going to go through something. And a lot of times people are judged by how you persevere through things. Some people fold under pressure. Some people get stronger with pressure. Um, some people need somebody in your corner. For people who do fold under pressure, you need people in your corner to help you push you the extra step to get you to the goal that you had set, to get you to the point of success that you've been trying to reach your entire life. Chris, he reached success in his life, and he also helped pull other people up, which is why I can very much appreciate, because a lot of people get in a position where they're up there, they're successful, and they forget about everyone else because they don't have to. They don't have to pull anybody else up. They don't have to do anything. Chris, this is why I said that is the side of a good person, when you are successful and you still think about other people. It's easy to think about other people when you're poor, or think about other people when you're not successful. But when you have met success and you still are trying to pull other people up to your level or above your level, that's a sign of a good person. And I appreciate the hell out of Chris for that, because Chris was always trying to pull other people up, never trying to knock anybody down. I wish more people were like that, but that's just the way of the world sometimes. But rest in power, Pete. Rest in power, Chris. We will miss you. But as you were saying, LT, if you don't look at it as the end, then we'll see each other again.
It's only one part of the journey,
right? And the thing you said too, we're going to be quote unquote dead much longer than we're going to be alive. You believe in the afterlife, you're going to be in the afterlife way longer. This is just a blip. This is just a blip on the grid of life, whatever. It's only going to happen for a little bit that you're going to be alive here on earth, but for the time that you're going to be dead or in heaven or whatever, it's going to be a long ass time. So feel good for Chris, because Chris is in a good place.
He's an ancestor now.
All right. So with that, we're going to start on the first topic of the day. Rad will be up here eventually. Hold on, I think I got a text from her. Let's see what she says. Give me a sec, guys. She said right quick. Where is she?
I just want to give a spotlight to this little Facebook group I just joined called People Against White Jesus. Like and subscribe.
What happened? Where's this coming from? He done froze up.
Right. It's funny. I was going to say, it's funny that he said something about that, because earlier today, somebody was saying something to me about how come there's no picture of Allah or something. And I was like, well, there's not a picture of God either. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, well, Jesus is up. That's Jesus. That's not God.
Right.
And so, we were talking about that. And I was like, that even what you, that's not a picture. That's somebody depicting, you know what I'm saying? That's a depiction of him. And it's still not accurate according to, what they're supposed to be using to make the picture by. So it's
right. Well, there was a reason why.
Figurehead, of course.
Yeah. Allah didn't want to have a picture taken of him. They think that's sacrilegious anyway. They even have a picture taken of Allah. That's why. I don't know if you remember. I know I'm getting a little off track, but
it's all right. Go ahead.
There was a few years, maybe a decade ago, where I think it was in Texas, and people were drawing pictures of Allah, and I don't think they were doing it in a way to represent Allah in a great light or positive light. I think they were doing it to be funny. And people had got killed, like they got decapitated, because they were trying. I think that's what it was. They were trying to be funny. One, because they were trying to be funny, but two, No one's Allah was not supposed to have a picture of him. It's viewed as disrespectful. It's almost viewed, I think, as like idol worship, and they don't play that over there.
Well, think about it though. If Allah is their God, how does anybody have a picture of God? So whatever picture you're putting, that's their God. You know what I'm saying? So if that, I mean, we don't have a picture of our God, how they got a picture of their God? Or how, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got it.
LT signal done disappearing. Okay, so let's see.
After he done talked about his little Facebook group.
Yeah, see, he spoke of he spoke of Jesus, and Jesus messed up his signal or something.
Jesus didn't like that ugly. He said, "I need to put him out the room for a little bit."
All right, well, let's see what we got first today. Okay, first topic we got today. Until they get back on, I guess we'll go on with it. Would you allow a teacher, if given permission, this is a school in Missouri. Well, I guess this is schools in Missouri. They are allowing teachers, given permission by the parents, they allow them to have corporal punishment placed on their kids. So they are allowed to be able to spank kids again in Missouri. Would you allow teachers to spank your kids in this day and age? And since you are up here, and I say I reckon they will come back up here eventually, I'm gonna get your opinion first.
Okay.
Would you or would you not allow teachers to spank your kid? And depending on your answer, tell us why, and we'll give you a
I would never ever allow a teacher to spank my kid.
Okay.
So I'm the only one. I'm the executive decision maker in my kids' life. Both of my kids are grown, but when they were younger, there ain't too many, ass whoopings going out other than me. But you don't know what kind of control that somebody has. You don't know what that teacher's beliefs are. You don't know, you have no idea where they're coming from. I'm not going to unleash whatever you have going on with you on my child. You may think that there's something that they may need to be spanked for or punished for. I may not have that same belief. So why am I going to allow you to physically discipline my child? My kids have never had a teacher that I trusted enough that I would have been like, you know what? If they do something wrong, just go ahead and whoop them. Man, please. My kids better not call me talking about nobody to put their hands on them. I'm about to go turn the whole schoolhouse upside down. Period.
Okay. You want to end it on that?
Yeah, period. But I don't know. Now, you said teacher. I think that other people, like family members, grandparents, things like that. But teachers, nah. I used to be I used to be a bus driver, a school bus driver. I wouldn't even have wanted parents to give me that right to whoop their kid. But granted, you have some on the bus that are bad enough that probably need a whooping and that you want to whoop, but that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? My job, and just like that's not a teacher's job. There's other forms of discipline that you can do than whipping a child.
I'm sorry. They heard me talking about white Jesus and took me out.
That's the same thing we said.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Came back just in time. All right, LT, this same question presented to you. Would you allow teachers, given permission, would you allow a teacher to spank your child?
Damn. This is exactly where we left off at motherfucking last week.
Right.
Let me see if I can remember my whole answer. No.
Go.
All right. Well, tell us why.
Damn, if I can remember my damn no, because here's my answer, because it could be disproportionate. Again, they just like certain children are disproportionately punished more than other children in the school system. That could be the same case with these whoopings and spankings that are being given out. Certain children are going to be hit more than other children. And again, we're putting regular people who are not paid enough to deal with the kind of stress that discipline takes. and having to discipline. Because again, are we disciplining these children all the way up until high school? Is there a certain cutoff age? Is it going to be for special needs children? Like, where do we draw the line on it? And then we're putting people that aren't prepared for this in charge of disciplining our children. They go to school to teach our children, not to effectively raise our children. That's a whole nother degree that I don't know if my tax dollars are going towards. And yeah, we can end it right there. How much time I got?
I don't know. You got plenty, probably like a minute.
All right, so back to this white Jesus thing. It's a page called Christians or whatever against white Jesus. It's a response to Christians against Black Little Mermaid. Because what the fuck, really? Ain't no mermaid in the Bible, but y'all really want to go? Y'all want to? We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. You want to end on that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll end on that, man.
We're getting there.
We're going to get to that. I know you're impatient. You're ready to get to that one. I am too. Okay, so with me,
are you ready? Go.
Look, Sparky, I know you are from the same era as I am from, and I grew up. Everybody, they had a Soul Train line of people ready to get me. When I was in elementary school, you had a teacher, you had the principal, the assistant principal, the lunch lady, the PE teacher. Everybody got a taste of it. And then the parents, then the mother and father got me. And the reason why I agree, I think they should be able to. Again, with permission, because it created you can call it fear, but I think there's good and bad fear of people in power, whatever, the teachers, the school administration. And on top of it, parents my father worked a 12-hour shift, sometimes more. He did not have time to come out to the school at all times. The mother worked long hours as well. She didn't have time to leave her job in the middle of whatever she was doing to come out there and discipline me. And I could be a handful sometimes. And so sometimes you need to give your permission and to somebody lay hands on your child. I know there are some people that you cannot trust with your children, but hell, there are some parents you can't trust with children as well. I think what's happening now is there's parents now that are too friendly with their kids now, and they don't discipline their children. They let them run wild when they go to school. And then what are the parents to do? I mean, not the parents. What are the teachers to do once they get there? Send them the ISS, where they're just going to continue to act up. And the reason why, damn, my time's running out. The reason why they was even implemented in the first place is because I'm going to take a little bit more time with this. But the reason why this was implemented was because it was to give another option to kids who were bad, and instead of suspending them or expelling them from school, they're just like, well, we'll just give them a spanking and put them back in class so they won't have to miss school or have to move to another school because they no longer can go to the school because they're expelled. And that was one of the main reasons why Missouri is offering to just have spanking as a punishment in the first place. Just to give another option, because we don't want to have to expel the kids. We don't have to suspend the kids where they have to miss school. I think it would keep them in line from acting up because of fear. I think fear is a good thing, because at some point, if your kids act up as adults, there's a thing called prison. There's a thing called police that are going to put them in their place when you don't. So you need to know, I think, that other people can put you. Remember the phrase, it takes a village to raise kids? That has totally disappeared in today's society because we have become so afraid that everybody's out to harm. And I understand. I do understand. There are some bad people in this world. I do understand. But there are also some bad parents in this world, too. They don't do their job. That's the end of my rant. What else y'all got to say on it?
We should only get to hit your kids if you a bad parent. And then and then teachers should get to fight the parent. How about that? Because you know what, matter of fact, and for parents, if that's the case, if we're gonna allow them to fight our children, or I'm sorry, if we're gonna allow them to put their hands on our children, we should be able to come up to the school and challenge it and fight them. You know what I'm saying? Like, why was my child hit? If I disagree, I should be able to hit the teacher.
Like a fight club for parents versus teachers.
Because there are places like jail that they could end up if they don't pay attention to the rules. But do we really want our children associating discipline with school? Like, because honestly, in the Black community specifically, we already have such negative connotations and negative, feelings when it comes towards education. We're not as enthusiastic about it as we rightfully should be, as we need to be. And how enthusiastic are you going to be coming back into a class after getting your ass whooped? I'm not listening to shit. I'm about to knock my. I'm probably about to get my ass whooped all day because I'm just not gonna be in a good mood. Like, especially by someone that honestly is not my parent. That, yes, it takes a village, but I don't know if they got, like, again, these teachers are regular people with their own agenda, their own views, their own alignments, and yeah, it's likened to a police force. Like, we need a psychological evaluation on these teachers if we're going to give them that much, that much say so over how to again raise our children. Because yes, they are effectively slightly raising our children when we send them off to school. I would still say teaching, but yes, they're watching them. They are the guardian if they were to take a field trip or something. But it just gets real dicey. And Missouri, the fact that it's Missouri that wants to start this, I just don't think it's pure intentions. I'm going to be honest. I think they just want to whoop some Black kids.
It could be the case.
It's like we going back to lashing for slavery type thing. Somebody do something wrong, somebody do something that they're not supposed to do, get out the whip and lash them. Like, nah. And I understand it takes a village to raise a child. I agree. I used to be a part of the village. I was a foster mom for a long time. But even with that, it's the acting mom. You still ain't really, you got to be careful about putting your hands on people's kids. I don't see it. I don't see it. Just putting too much trust in them. Like, how am I going to trust you to cut it off where it needs to be cut off? Your whooping and my whooping may not be the same.
See, we don't want to call it a whooping. So whooping, whooping takes like 3, 5, 10 minutes. We know parents, it takes a minute.
It took 3, 5.
Spanking is like 2 hits, pop, and let's go. Whooping is going to take like the length of the advertisements before the movie starts.
Okay, but how do we know that what's supposed to start as spankings aren't going to turn into whoopings when the teachers put their own spin on it? I mean, that's like somebody say put a dash of salt in there. Well, a dash of salt is how many damn grains? Right. You know what I'm saying? If I say you're supposed to get a kid a spanking, does that mean 2 lashings, 3 lashings, 4 lashings? Or now we getting into a whooping because you talking with the lashings? Like, you know what I'm saying? What?
I think it's kind of convenient though. Look, you talk about a dash of salt. A dash of salt is different for Black people than it is for white people.
Yes.
And a spanking is also different for Black people than it is for white people.
Yes.
But to speak to your issue there, I think we mentioned it the other day. I said, well, let's put cameras in the classroom, or cameras where you're going to discipline the child and see if they go too far with the
police got cameras.
And that was the exact
cameras ain't deterring nobody from doing nothing.
It became like, how police always get the chance to say my camera became dislodged in the
or
incident.
Whatever. Yeah,
and we never get that footage. We always have to rely on the footage of someone on their cell phone recording instead of the actual security footage. We never get it. We had security footage. We had fucking airplane footage or helicopter footage of 4 cops beating a nigga named Rodney King back in the 90s, and them niggas got off. So
scot-free.
I'm still salty about that. I was only like 2 years old.
That's true and all, but you guys also have to understand you are releasing, and not just your kids. There are other kids that are not parented the same way as you're going to parent your kids. There are wild ones out there that will punch the teacher. They're willing to punch the teacher, slap the teacher, shoot the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
In this day of age, it ain't the same like it was when the 80s and 90s and stuff. We're growing
And
up with
I would
kids
argue that
shooting
it's because
students.
those kids are experiencing influx of violence either in home or in their neighborhood. So they don't need to
or
come
at,
to school and
or at school.
experience more violence.
They're probably experiencing it at school.
That as well. They're getting bullied. So
So
it's like
now
they
should
get
they be experiencing at school though at the hands of their teachers now?
But it's not bullying though. It's
Yeah,
done.
well, we did. Yeah, I mean, it may not be bullying, but
you're not gonna
still
be able to
violence.
distinguish the two.
What you said
You know
was
what I'm saying?
violence. You said violence. The teacher whipping them can still be violence. It doesn't have to be bullying. And if the teacher has power and the kids don't, depending on what it is, it could be a form of bullying. Don't act like teachers don't be bullying them kids at school. You know they do.
So would you also say it's a form of bullying if the parent does it?
If the parent does what?
Spank or whoop?
No, no,
No.
nope.
The same
That's in
act.
their job description.
But
Because
it's the
again,
same
there's
act.
things I have to deal
The
with as
parent.
a parent that the teacher does not have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? The teacher is not in charge of this person's life. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to make sure in order for the child to not get any whoopings or spankings or discipline, I have to make sure as a parent I'm sending them out into the world correctly. So again, like I said, if
That's
the parent
debatable.
can come up there and challenge the teacher to a fight and the teacher wins, the teacher is right. If the parent wins, the parent's right.
But that's debatable though, because think about it now. I don't think people really think about it. You're the parent, you give the kid to the teacher. You might see your kid for an hour or two before they got to go to school. They're at school for like 8 hours. And depending on what time you get off of work, you may see them for maybe 2 to 3 hours. They're going to be around the teachers more than you. The teacher are, in a way, basically raising your kid as well, probably for more time than you are. So they're going to have to deal with more behavior issues than you are. By the time they get home, they got homework and they got to go to bed. Or you might not see them at all if you got to work a job that's long into the hours or 2 jobs. They have to deal with them way more than the parent does. We're talking about, elementary K through 12 or whatever. So that's why I think it would behoove them to have some sort of power without abusing the power. We know that people can abuse power, but I think it would behoove them to have some sort of power that would help them if the kid acts up. Because all kids ain't good kids.
Right, but think about it though. The kids that are acting up are probably the ones that their parents probably ain't gonna give permission anyway.
And
If you talking
who
about
are we
this
to
or that,
determine who's a good kid?
and who's a bad kid?
That's why I was about to back it up and say, like, okay, I'm not going to say that all kids are bad kids. Maybe that been.
I've never met a kid that didn't need a whooping though at some time in their life.
Right.
But that don't mean by the teacher.
There are some parents that don't have that kind of time to come out there to that school and discipline them like they're supposed to be disciplined. It's like, why not hand that off to them with supervision? I know it doesn't always go right. LT, you mentioned the police with their cameras, but I mean, if that's the case, then we still have to trust them at some point. We still got to trust the police at some point. We still got to trust the teachers at some point because we're leaving them alone with them teachers for 8 to 9 hours a day. You have to trust them to some point. You have to.
Yeah, I trust that they're not gonna put their hands on my kids because they're not allowed to.
Yeah,
That no matter what their level of frustration is or whatever level they get to, I don't have to worry about the certain level of their control because they don't have the right to put their hands on my kid.
And let's be honest, like the distinguishing factor is teachers get paid for this. This is their job to teach. Like I'm not sending my child here to be babysat. I'm sending my child here to learn something. So I make sure that their child or my child's behavior is correct. Your only job is to teach them something. Like I'm like that. That's not the way I would send my children over or out to school. Like because I don't want them depending on their teacher for, I don't want them to see their teacher as a parental figure, an authority figure. Yes, respect authority.
Nobody does.
But like that's, and because they don't have the unconditioned, and their children, I think, can pick up on that. you can tell when someone does not have that unconditional care for you and they're trying to exalt some type of dominance over you. At least I could when I was a child. I was very
Mhm.
perceptive, and I did not like when, you know, relatives of my parents, like an uncle that I never met, would threaten to whoop my behind. I wouldn't disrespect him outright, but I would definitely go find my parents to I would just tell them what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like if I would rather be disciplined by the people that have been disciplining me than and again, like, and this is just something I was trying to allude to the last week. We never asked the kids, but how would they feel? Because we think we know what's best for them.
Forget
And
them
this is how
kids.
situations where kids end up endangered, like
Mhm.
like Nickelodeon and Disney, like we think we know what's best for our children by letting them, you know, chase their dreams as actors and shit. But then we sign them over to Dan Schreider and he's, you know, taking pictures of their feet. But we think we know what's best for our kids without speaking to our children. And I would wager that our children probably don't want their teachers whooping their ass.
Mm-mm.
So would you trust family members, uncles, aunts, grandparents with whipping your kids?
Would I let them?
Yeah, like if they,
Hmm.
you got to go to work and they're babysitting your kids, basically. Would you trust them?
And see, here's my clear distinction. We're saying whoop and spank.
Spain. I meant to say Spain. My
I
fault.
mean, but either none of those. You can pop my child on the hand,
Okay.
and it better be on the damn hand, on the top side.
Top side, not the bottom hand side. That's a half five, man.
Uh, right there. 'Cause that's a good place right there. You know what I'm saying? Because after, like, I mean, I don't have children yet, but I want to stop physically, you know what I'm saying, reprimanding my children at the age of 5. You know what I'm saying? When I feel like when I can speak to them and they can speak to me clearly, I don't need to, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I
yeah.
don't I don't I don't need to fix my hand and take off my belt, you know what I'm saying? I want to be more because I'm an army brat. I was definitely raised by getting my ass whooped. Um I'll be honest, I didn't like it. Didn't really enjoy it too much. And I'm not gonna be one of those people that, you know, when I become a parent to say, well, this worked for me, I turned out fine, because I feel like that's what my parents did. And I feel like they probably have some emotional baggage they've never unpacked. Because I feel like their parents probably spanked them and beat them a little bit worse. You know what I'm saying? So I probably definitely got it lighter, but just me being the person I am, I didn't appreciate it at all. I disagree. I can say that now. I am my own father, and I disagree with with all of that shit.
I
So
do. I agree with you on that. Where there's a certain age, I think K through 5, but I think once you pass that, no, I don't think you should be able to have to. Yeah, you should have to spank somebody when they once at least to get to middle school, and maybe even earlier than K through 5, maybe K through 3, K through 2, whatever. Because at some point, the spanking is like I said the last time, I think is more so for people, well, not people, kids, they're people too, but kids that don't quite understand why they're being punished in other ways, like they can't quite comprehend everything you're saying at first. In the early stages of uh being a kid, here, knowing that you're going to get spanked, they're processing as, I did a bad thing, I don't want to get spanked, so I'm going to stop doing this act. But once they start understanding lessons that you give them, why they're getting punished, grounded, being put in a corner, getting their games taken away from them, then I think you should be able to put that in there. So I can agree to that. I think there's a certain age you cannot continue to do that. Because I know there are some that are getting spanked in the high school years. And basically, I think all they're doing at that point is just avoiding or trying to not get caught in the act of whatever they're doing wrong. They're just trying not to get caught. And they're not really learning a lesson. So they're going to continue doing that into adulthood. They're just not going to try to get caught with whatever they're trying to do to get, whatever act they're trying to do to get away with. They're just trying not to get
I
caught,
also
not
think
necessarily
the
that
more
they're
you're exposed to
learning
it,
is
the
something
less
wrong with what
you.
they're doing.
I think the more you're exposed to it, the less effective it is. Like if I'm getting my ass beat at home when I do something wrong, and I'm getting my ass beat at school when I do something wrong, eventually An ass beating is not going to mean shit to me.
Become
Because again, if it,
desensitized.
You're just gonna try to avoid it.
yeah, like you're either going to try to avoid it or just chalk it up. Like, all right, so I'm gonna do this anyway. They're gonna spank my behind 2-3 times, and then I'm gonna get back doing it. Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're getting it, if you're exposed to something that much, you naturally become desensitized to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, and
It might become a kink.
You can correlate that to, I guess, adulthood and going to prison with the high recidivism that we have in the United States. A lot of people probably just try to avoid doing the act that got them put in prison in the first place. Prison doesn't always stop people from going back to prison unless they learn from what they did to put them in the place in the first place. So I think, I don't think corporal punishment works all the way up until, I say K through 5, and maybe a little bit younger. But once you get to a point where you can start to comprehend what you did was wrong, when you parents can actually teach, teachers can actually teach why you did what you did was wrong, then I think spanking is a useful tool. After you start becoming a certain age, I don't think it's as useful anymore. You know, I said middle school, high school, adulthood would be really strange. Even though I know some people do that in the privacy of their bedroom, but I don't think you can use that at every age, and docile age or whatever, and older. So I kind of agree with you guys to a certain degree. I think there's a certain age where you have to stop it. I think that's the earliest of ages. Pre-K, I would say maybe up to 3rd grade, and then it stops. And then you got to start having conversations. I think you should have conversations with the spanking, period. But at certain ages, I think you need to stop. You don't need to do it no more. If after a while, it's too late. If you don't get it done early, then it's too late. Then spanking or words, I don't think will work if you don't teach a lesson with why they did what was wrong. I think the problem is when people spank, and that's all they do is spank or whoop. You just whoop and like, don't do it again. Well, why? Why should I not do it again? And it was like, oh, I shouldn't do it again because I'm going to get punished. So now I'm going to try to hide it. Oh, phone ringing. But I'm going to try to do a better job of hiding the act that I did so I don't get whooped. That's not really teaching a lesson. That's just helping you figure out ways to avoid to get the punishment in the first place. Much like prison.
I mean, but see, and the point of prison is to actually rehabilitate.
It does.
And that's my point. So what are we really gearing them for? Like, so, I mean, yes, to a lot of what you're saying, like there needs to be actual education behind, actual, teaching of why this is wrong. Let's go into explanation of why you were reprimanded for your action. Mm-hmm. And liken to criminals, they're not really told why. They're judged, literal and figuratively, and then thrown to the side with other criminals. And even in the jails, they're not going through classes to, reintegrate into society after they get out. They're literally treated like animals.
Well, I think when you become an adult, you're just on your own. You need to know why you shouldn't do what you're doing. And that is what the parent is supposed to teach. And I think the many failings of a lot of parents is they're like teaching them like, well, it's just wrong. Well, why is it wrong? And no one teaches that as a kid on the way through to adulthood, except through spankings. You got to eventually teach why it's wrong. And I think that is the failings of using spankings and whoopings throughout their entire childhood to teach a lesson. I don't like that. And I think that fails them when they become adults. They're like, okay, they just told me it was wrong, but why? And they continue doing it because they don't know why. And you want some other adults, kind of like teachers, I guess, to teach them why what they're doing is wrong. At some point, it's probably too late.
Too late.
You got anything else to speak on this, Sparky, before we move on?
I think that I think it's got to be like an individual situation. Like I agree that you have to have an age or something where you cut it off. but I don't know that it's like a set age or, you know what I'm saying? Or like it needs to be a particular age because I think every kid is different. Whereas one child, might not need a spanking. After they're 5, 4 or 5, somebody else might need, something. And depending on how young the kids are, I hope you ain't spanking them like that anyway. A pop here or there, but full-fledged whoopings, or spanking, excuse me. That seems like a little bit much. Like I said before, though, I've never met a kid that didn't need a spanking at some time in their lives. None of us are perfect. We all, and not to think is the only way to deter something, because I don't believe that, and I believe that you need to talk to your kids, and that kind of thing. I did both. I talked and I spanked. But and I think that they both worked. But like you said, after you got to a certain age, but you almost got grown men or young men and that kind of thing, and you still trying to put your hands on them and then wonder why either they're angry or why they're you emasculating them at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? You just hitting on them and beating on them and not really explaining to them why. Sometimes it turns into that because I said so.
Right.
A lot of parents use that as the reason why, because I said so.
What does that mean?
Right. And so now you're teaching your kids what? Whenever there's a person of authority that tells them to do something, they just do it, regardless, not thinking
Or
into it and stuff like
when
that.
they become a person of authority, that's what they
Right.
start doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I said so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's how they start correcting other people's problems. Their friend, and it can start real young in their friend groups. They start. We've seen kids have clear roles and just start hitting each other to take now I'm playing with this toy. Alpha kids, really creating hierarchies because you know what I'm saying. That's the way they've been raised. They did something wrong. They got hit. So their friends did something wrong. According to them, I hit you. And getting older, my significant other did something wrong. I hit you. And just now I'm older and my kids did something wrong. I hit them. It's just we're passing along a bit of, I don't want to call it trauma because again, physically reprimanding is something to do when your child can't communicate verbally yet. You know what I'm saying? When that verbal communication isn't there and you need them to understand, you want them to associate whatever they did with a wrong feeling. I get that. But at a certain point, you're kind of just hardening someone you're hardening someone by you're using a rock to sharpen steel.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I don't believe into it because my son needs to know that I'm going to always protect him and be there for him. And for me to put that much authority in someone else's hands over my child is going to look at me like I'm not protected outside of the household. And so it's not built like how it was back then. Back then we had, tribe with the teachers and relationships and stuff like that with the teachers and stuff like that. And so once we rebuild that, then I can see that. But these teachers got too much power. And then if my child got ADHD or whatever, I don't believe in a child having ADHD, but it happens, whatever. But what if there's the issue of that child and then the teacher's like, oh, he's not listening, he's just jumping up and stuff, so I'm gonna just spank him. That's not teaching him good, communication skills or, social skills, because he's gonna be like, well, I'm doing it. I don't know why I'm doing it. It's just I got the urge to do it, and now I'm being reprimanded for something that I can't even explain. No.
Only thing I'll say is this is why I agree with it, is because I think the teachers don't have power. I think the students are just running roughshod over them every day, and they are not afraid of them. And you may say, well, they shouldn't be able to instill fear into the kids. I disagree with that. I think adults should be able to instill fear into kids. I don't agree that any adult should be able to instill fear to me as a kid to not commit certain acts. Not fear that they're going to kill them, but that if I do a certain act, then I'm going to get in trouble. Not just because some of them. Okay, perfect example. There are certain two-parent households where the mom doesn't do anything to the kid, and they can easily just say, "Wait till your dad gets home." And why is that? Because the father instills a certain fear that the mother doesn't do. So what do you think kind of fear do they have when a perfect stranger that they don't know and they can commit all these acts, run around the classroom and stuff like that? And some schools have zero tolerance. As soon as you do anything, if you hit a kid, if you yell at a kid, they're going to expel you, not just suspend, expel you from the school. And then what are you going to do when your kid is out of school? Then you got to leave work and stay home with the kid. You got to explain to your boss that you can't go to work because your kid is being a badass. And now you got to go try to find another school to put your kid in that's further down the road from where you live at. Find a different district, find a different address to put them on, find a friend to put them in, to put your kid in to go to that certain school. What are you going to do if you have to do that? And I don't like this zero tolerance thing. Zero tolerance doesn't let adults deal with the situation like they should be able to do. They just throw their hands up and say, "Hey, it's not my problem. Get them out of here." Back before, when I was growing up, they dealt with the situation properly. I'll say properly. I know everything is not perfect in any place you go to. Jobs, schools, whatever. No place is perfect. But at least they dealt with the situation when I was growing up and they didn't have to worry about just kicking a kid out just for committing one act. Now this zero tolerance thing is no one deals with anything. And that can have huge ramifications for a child growing up when they get kicked out for every little thing they do.
And this is true. Yeah, but it's teaching our children that you can't mess up, but you're going to mess up. You're going to mess up from whatever age to whatever age you end at. So it's teaching them, oh, I can't mess up. So it's triggering something in their brains to make them more anxious to the fact that they're fidgeting and jumping around and doing stuff because they just can't mess up. Stuff happens, and then I just want us to get out of the concept of instilling fear into our children. Why can't we instill respect into our children? To have a fear of is something I don't want to be around, I don't want to tolerate, I don't want to have nothing to deal with. And so if you are instilling fear into a child, they're not even going to you may get them to do whatever you want them to do, but they're not going to respect you. They're not going to learn anything. It's going to be a high dropout rate because, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I am scared of this and I want to get away from this. So we can instill respect there for our children and for them to respect the teachers, but it comes from the parents and the teachers. If we work together and then say, hey, what can we do, to prevent certain things, certain actions that you are showing us. And sometimes kids, when I was young, my mother told me I had no feelings. I had no feelings. I had no nerves. But she was indeed getting on my nerves, yelling and screaming every time I wasn't doing something. And it caused me so much anxiety for me to express myself and to at least talk through my emotions instead of acting it out. So I'm not instilling fear into my child. And I'm just speaking for me. And then I worked at the Y with several children. I didn't instill fear in them for them to respect me. It was a respect level, because if you respect me and respect adult figures, you would get good things. You would get rewarded. You would have, this is what you're going to get. If you don't, this is what you're going to get. I don't like to instill fear in no one, because fear can drive people to do a lot of bad things. So,
I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, we should teach respect, but as we were also saying, earlier tonight, we want parents to be the first response to discipline kids. We know it's not a perfect world because we know all parents don't do that. And if you're going to send them in the care for the teacher, which they're going to be in the teacher's care more than they're going to be in your care, because they're going to be in the teacher for 8 to 9 hours a day. You're going to see them a couple hours in the morning, if that, couple hours at night, then they got to go to bed. You're putting them in the teacher's hand for longer than you're going to have them, and they're going to be the ones that are basically the glorified babysitters. I don't want to say glorified because teachers are very important. Their job is not to babysit. Their job is to teach. But we all know there's that kid that just is going to run around. He may have issues. He may be on the spectrum, and he may not respond in kind to certain words and stuff like that. He may not be on the spectrum. He may just be a bad kid, or a kid that just acts out. I don't want to say a bad kid, but a kid that acts out because he wasn't disciplined at home. There are those kids that just are not disciplined at home. They're allowed to do anything they want. Curse, punch, yell, scream, throw knives or whatever. There are kids like that. What is the teacher to do? Yes, they could suspend them. And if anything, I guess that's getting you ready for real life, because if you punch, yell, scream as an adult, the fear you're going to be instilled with is prison. So they have ways they instill fear every day, and it's prison. Long-term sentences where you're in there for 10, 20 years, depending on what kind of crime you commit. Do you want it to get to that point? Would you?
No, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say, if it could be better just to spank the child instead of just expelling the child. What if
that don't work? Some kids like to get hit.
Other options. There's other options.
Because at the end of the day, it's like we are teaching them to not make mistakes. And I get what you're saying, because when you grow up and become an adult and you make a mistake, you're going to go to jail. But these are children. We have to allow for them to make those mistakes. We have to allow, you're going to have consequences, and this is going to be the repercussions. But I don't teach my son, oh, if you do this and when you get older, you're going to go to jail. No, I tell him right here, right now, in the age that you are right now, this is bad behavior and it has to be corrected. And you cannot tell me sorry and still do the same thing, because it's no point of apologizing if you're still going to do it. Mm-hmm. And I tell him to talk through his emotions and try to understand where he's coming from. And at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna put their hands on my child. Some kids like to get whooped. Some kids like it. Some kids learn to clench their cheeks, like I did as a child.
Does that transfer to real life too?
I mean, it can turn into a kink. Like some good, there's an episode of American Dad that explores that a lot. Francine getting their ass whooped. I'm one of those people. American Dad is funnier than Family Guy. I'll die on that hill. It is funny. Here's a typical Family Guy joke. Gee, Lois, that's crazy. I think the time me and Spider-Man went scuba diving, and then you cut to a scene of Peter and Spider-Man going scuba diving, and then Aquaman pop up or some shit, and then you go back to whatever the fuck they was talking about.
Pretty good impression. I like that impression.
I've been working on it.
All right.
Well, if you don't get you in the wrong, you're in the wrong place.
I do voice acting.
You need to go ahead and do that.
I also narrate audiobooks.
He narrates audiobooks. Okay, we're gonna have to do an audiobook for this show or this particular subject. All right. Let's move on to the next subject. Now we're gonna go to the Leave It or Medicated section of the show. LT, I know you've been itching to get to this one. You were trying to mention it in the first main topic about Black Mermaid.
These motherfuckers.
Little Black Mermaid. I don't know if I can just call it Little Mermaid, because so people are up in arms about the subject.
In arms.
This lady right here is going to be playing a live action version of The Little Mermaid, and people are up in arms about this because the mermaid that she is playing used to be white and now she is black, and people do not like this. For what reason, I don't know.
I know. Reason.
we're gonna go through this and do the leave it or medicated. We're gonna get a 1 minute to get your initial statement out, what you feel about this situation, and then we're gonna go all out and figure out what else we can do to fix this situation to make people feel at ease that it's okay for this young lady to play Little Mermaid. LT, since you've been itching to say something about this, I'm gonna let you go first, man. Leave it or medicated. Leave it if you are fine with people complaining about it and wanting the hold on to the yesteryears of white Ariel playing the mermaid. Or medicated is we need to do something about these people crying left and right about Ariel being black this go round. What would you like to do? Would you like to leave it or medicated?
Let's see. Okay, so leave it is let them cry.
Yes.
And medicated is tell them to stop crying, pretty much, right?
Yeah, basically. Stop being a bitch and stop crying about it.
Oh man. I honestly love both of those.
Okay.
Right.
We can't do both though.
All right. So all right, yeah. I'm gonna do both. And
no, we can't do both. We gotta
oh damn, I can't do both. All right.
No,
sorry.
we can't do
Yeah,
both.
you gotta choose on red on his show.
All right. So leave it.
You gonna leave it? Tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
In this state of Zen that I am currently in, I cannot control how others react. I can only control how I react. And how I react is I want more. I want more black people being things that were supposed to be whites. And I want them to cry about it more. Because you know what? I've seen Moses, I've seen Cleopatra, and I've seen Jesus depicted as white men and women, respectively, disrespectfully, several times in my life. And you know what? I don't give a fuck if you're mad about a fictional creature, a mermaid, into a fictional character, Ariel, now being black. Because again, to shout out this group, People Against White Jesus. To quote that popular meme going on right now, if y'all are mad at a black mermaid, wait till you die and possibly go to heaven.
All right.
I saw a meme where they already casted the entire X-Men and it's all black. My boy Johnny Boyega is in the cast. My girl Kiki Palmer is in the cast. The Hispanic black dude, he a Latin Negro. What's Esposito? He was in the Mandalorian and The Voice. Yeah, African Latin. Shout out to him. He in the cast. If I want to take all of their properties, I would like to see a Black Zeus. I can't wait to go see Black Adam. And guess what? Go see The Woman King. It was amazing.
You don't sound like you're both on this at all. You sound like you're really trying to medicate this.
Right, you sound like you're really medicated.
Yeah, you don't
I want to leave it because I want them to cry about it. Cry about it. Get used to it. Get used to seeing black faces. Like I said, this past weekend, I went to go see The Woman King. Me and my woman went to go see The Woman King. We loved it. It was a beautiful film, powerful, strong film. I want them to cry about all the black faces that we are about to put on their screens. Then her just got casted as Belle in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, in Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. And that's my movie.
All right, Raz, let you go next on this one. Okay. You gonna leave it or medicate it?
I'm gonna medicate it because fuck y'all.
Are you ready? Go!
That's your statement.
I was too early, but still, fuck them, okay? Because like, why are you so upset? For one, it's a fictional character, and for two, mermaids have always been black. Let's do that.
Your job.
I'm just saying, and it's like, why is it that it's always an issue when we make something a different ethnicity? It doesn't make any sense. If there's white mermaids, there should be black mermaids. And the whole thing that it's Ariel. It was one person talking about the ginger community. That what about the ginger community and what she was standing up for? But it was like, okay, well, they had their time. They can still go watch Little Mermaid if they want to. But guess what? We finna watch this one. And wasn't nobody doing a lot over Brandy playing Cinderella. So I'm gonna medicate it. Fuck that. Fuck
Ray
y'all.
J sister.
All right. Sparky T, what do you got to say about it? You want to leave it or medicate it?
I'm sitting over here trying to figure it out. I guess I'm medicating it because I think that this
Go.
I think it's like stupid as hell that they want to be mad about the mermaid being black. Of course, mermaids were black, and if not black, of color. When you look at the history of them, you know, majority of them were coming out of either Africa or out of Brazil. Even the ones that were coming out of Asia in the, you know, in the old Texas stuff, they still would have had color. They wouldn't have been white. You know what I'm saying? But they always want to find something that they want to be mad about, and they never want to have something out there that they feel like their kids are looking up to something else that's black. When granted, black women been raising their kids all along, so I don't really get the whole thing. But the hell with it. They just gonna have to live with it because we're not gonna change it. Why should we? I agree. We should just keep getting blacker, black on black on black on black on black on black on black.
All right.
Yamoja.
I think everybody's medicated so far. Yep, everybody's medicated so far. So I guess I will medicate it as well.
Are you ready? Go.
Basically, bouncing off of what y'all said, it's a fictional character. I don't care. No one in here, at least I don't think, unless under a heavy substance, has seen a mermaid. I have not seen one, and who cares? I mean, do you actually think if it was a real thing that they would speak English and that they actually want to mess with us in the first place? I mean, Ariel didn't know how the hell to use a fork. You look at the Little Mermaid, nobody's even talking about Little Mermaid was underage when she got married in the first place. I mean,
she was 16.
All
was
Disney
16.
princesses are underage. The actual Pocahontas was 12.
She was R. Kelly'd in that whole movie. Nobody want to talk about that, but we're more concerned about if she got melanin in her skin. No,
She was a transgender, actually.
It doesn't exist. If you're not going to argue about the real people, like I said, Jesus, Moses, and all these other historical real people,
real motherfuckers that we know existed, but
no one is
depicted as a white man.
None of these real historical figures, but you're fighting over somebody who does not exist. It's a Disney character. Who cares?
Not my Ariel.
Yeah, I've seen these people on.
It's not my Moses. How about that? I've seen the 10 Commandments. I sat through all 6 hours of I don't even know if it's 6 hours long. I might be exaggerating.
Maybe
sat through all 17 hours of the 10 Commandments.
You just went up.
Yes, because that's how long the fucking movie is, and that's how there's no black people in it. There's none. I didn't know if you saw the meme I put up. It was a pale Cheerio, and it said, "This is Jesus Christ," surrounded by chocolate Cheerios, and it said, "The rest of Nazareth and Bethlehem in Israel." Because what the fuck? How do you live in a region that is dominated by sun? Because this is what they've been trying to do. They like to tell you, I don't know how many movies based in Egypt I've seen where all of these people are pale. Gods of Egypt, starring Christian Bale, aka Batman, aka I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Okay, I was like,
he's playing Moses, playing the Prince of Egypt. Now, the best Prince of Egypt movie is the animated one where they are accurately depicted. We all know that. But this is Hollywood only likes to put money behind films with white faces. They think that's the only thing they can sell. And they also have this hero complex of wanting to make themselves the hero because, again, throughout history, they've pretty much just represented war, violence, rage. They've raped a lot. You know what I'm saying? They've raped and pillaged a lot. That's kind of their whole identity. But they would like to see themselves in the heroes of the Bible. They would like to see themselves as the first people. You know what I'm saying? And they really don't want to give up. Boom! There you go with that shit right there. Look at that is fucking blackface.
It is Othello. Come on now. Why is he?
And I don't even care about the Prince of Persia. I never played that game once in my life. But God, is that fucking Jake Gyllenhaal?
Look at Genghis Khan though.
But we gotta let What's his name? Yeah, you know he.
On my like Genghis Khan, he ain't have a beard, but like this is a history teacher.
Nobody's mad at that though. Nobody's mad at these at all. But you're mad at
Jesus looked like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. What the fuck?
is that is that dude that played
And then it's like it's the fact that it's live, like it's a live show. Y'all acting like they made a whole cartoon character because I feel like that's what y'all really mad for. Like y'all just.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the morbid memes that refer back to slavery. All the niggas y'all threw in the fucking ocean, all the niggas that jumped over the ships because we knew that death was better than bondage. You don't think no niggas could be floating around in the sea? Why you don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let me ask y'all this then. Let me throw these other ones up here because I know y'all seen these memes where they've replaced. you probably seen
I
this.
never seen this one, but oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And yo, on some real shit, here's my theory. Mad conspiracy theorist. Let me get this off real quick. Like I think niggas made these because
it's gonna be like 8 Mile.
Because on some real shit, niggas love white people movies. We can admit that. Niggas know we know a lot more white people movies than white people know black people movies, and they chose the white people that would be best for these roles. Melissa McCarthy as the Queen Latifah role. Come on, that's brilliant. Go to the 8 Mile.
Yeah. We don't have to see because I'm not making no judgment on that.
How do you think this movie will end? By the way, you remember how the original
all of them are pregnant.
No,
they're all pregnant and happy with, you know what I'm saying. I think Melissa McCarthy is gonna be gay, but she gonna find a husband too. It's gonna end like Bridesmaids. They all gonna end up married.
What?
Married and pregnant.
Oh.
I think they all would end up safe. They wouldn't get shot. They all would just be politely put in the back of a squad car.
And it would become a comedy real quick. You got Melissa McCarthy in this motherfucker?
I feel like it's Jennifer Lawrence at the bottom. And they're gonna meet up, but one of them had to die.
They gotta die in a funny way.
I'm telling you,
this would be a comedy. Like they wouldn't get this deep with white women. It would literally be a comedy, but yeah, Jennifer Lawrence would probably be the dumb one. Jennifer Lawrence is the dumb one. When Popeye opens a can of collard greens instead of, hey, look, on some real shit,
right?
Collard greens are just as good for you. I've been doing the knowledge, yo. We need, as black people, we need more vegetables in our system. We need more veggies. We are people. We are the original people. We are the people of the earth. We need to eat the things that come from the earth. So spinach is good for you.
COVID, a lot of people just didn't have anything to be mad about. So now it's like, how dare you? We was watching movies for like 2 years. We was in the house, so they're probably mad. Like, God, Lee, I was really trying to watch it.
Well, like honestly, this is art. Raz, about the Cinderella movie with Brandy.
Yeah,
I know that was before social media age kind of came about, but I still don't remember that much of an outrage about that movie.
Right, because you had Whitney Houston. White people love Whitney. Okay.
They did love Whitney. R.I.P. to the God. R.I.P. to the God Whitney.
I would love Brandy, Brandy's cool. Hey, I like Brandy. I like Brandy.
Hey, look, I see this shit because guess what? I know this nigga not getting off the bitch. You better scoot over and let me get on that board.
On it. No, she ain't scooting over. We knocking her ass off. This is gonna be Ike on there. Ike is gonna be the old guy at the end of the movie and say, "What happened to the diamond necklace? And what happened to the girl you with?" I scooted her ass off and took that diamond necklace.
Where the painting at? Where is the painting at?
She didn't want to play the song. She didn't want to sing the song like I wanted, so I knocked her off the door.
Oh, that's so mean, y'all.
I'm the king of the world.
What is Ike Turner?
She gonna be his, like she did in the back of the car. She's gonna finesse him.
She gonna beat him off of the door. That would be a good movie too. Like,
hey, look,
she finally get her come up and beat him off the door.
She gonna beat him with a guitar, or whatever he got.
There was one with motherfucking.
You sing the song, right?
It was there was one meme. I think it was Paid in Full, and it had Ethan Hawke, Eminem, and who was the other? It's Mark Wahlberg, and that's it. I'm not gonna lie. That's a crudy white boy squad.
Yeah,
I'll take that squad. Like on some real shit, and Paid in Full. I would watch because on some real shit. Niggas fuck with Ethan Hawke's just because off of Training Day alone.
Right.
Off of Training Day alone. So he got stripes. And Eminem obviously plays the Cameron character. Come on. Eminem is known for playing. I love Eminem as Crazy White Boy. I was watching The Wash the other day.
I ain't seen that movie in a minute.
It's on Tubi, and it's just as terrible as you remember.
Well, how terrible is if we had Brad Pitt playing in this movie here?
Oh, that hurts me on a personal level.
He gonna kill it.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Hey, look, honestly, nah, fuck that. It gotta be Leo. Because honestly,
Matthew McConaughey would play that better.
No, I wouldn't
because we can have this debate too. Is Brad Pitt their Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Basically,
I would say Leo on some real shit. Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, we already know he could play a slave owner. Shout out to Django. Like, and he acted like fucking that.
So why you want him to be on this?
Because that would be the ultimate flop. Like, that would be the ultimate inverse.
I think Brad Pitt.
I also just think Leonardo DiCaprio is a better actor. I'm going to be honest. I enjoy his cat. Y'all seen Wolf on Wall Street?
Great actor. Yes,
he is good. He's a great actor. Yes.
I like his catalog more. I mean, I love Brad Pitt. I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That's my shit.
Who would play Stefan in the Django version? But a white person though.
No, Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson. Yeah. That's Woody Harrelson. He's he's like he's their white
have him on that mag.
That was my favorite part. One of my favorite parts. I was like, in his face, he turned around and was like, "What?
You putting this nigga on in the big house?"
I love the flip. That nigga know that gal.
Why is you scared of me?
Because she's scaring me. Shout out Kerry Washington for making the ugliest faces in movies all the time.
I would say she got a propensity for doing that in all her movies and TV shows.
That's her feeling. It ain't pretty. It's ugly. Okay.
Oh, she do it better than anybody else. Goddamn.
All right, let's go into the next one. Let's see what we got next. Let's go into the unwanted baby shower guest. Let's go into that.
I feel personally attacked.
Let's see. Let me find the video for that right quick. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, earlier Tia got a very special announcement for y'all right here, right now. I'm going to give the mic to them. Let's go.
All right, so first and foremost, thank y'all all for coming. Appreciate y'all. Definitely got to give a shout out to everybody that played a role in this.
Not everybody, because some people came and didn't even bring a gift. Say something, because this kind of gives me wedding vibes. At my wedding, a lot of people came, but they didn't bring a gift. So if you came to the baby shower and you didn't bring a gift, you can leave. She didn't mean that.
No, I meant it. I meant it, Pam.
It's the baby hormones.
It ain't no hormones.
She didn't mean that.
I meant that.
I meant exactly what I said. So if you didn't bring a gift, you can get up and go. I said what I said. Yeah, I did. That's what I'm saying. It's the baby hormones. All right. Exactly what I said. Okay. I said what I said. Yeah, I did. That's that.
Okay.
Yeah, man, y'all heard what she said, man. You ain't got to give. Go ahead and head to the nearest exit. Yeah, we're just going to get off all that.
I can't hear you.
All right.
You on mute.
Yeah, okay, my fault. So do you think she had a rightful gripe to have with this? Leave it if you think she is correct with her gripe with the guest not bringing gifts for the baby shower. Medicated, she needs to change her attitude and be grateful that people even came to the baby shower. What do you think? Do you want to leave it or medicate it?
Oh, is it on me?
No, Sparky T.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think that she needs to medicate it.
Okay, tell us why.
Ready? Go!
People are supposed to be coming to your baby shower or whatever to celebrate you all having a baby. And I get it, they're supposed to bring gifts. But if somebody don't bring a gift, you just gonna tell them they ain't gotta go home, but they gotta get the hell out of here. So did you send out that many invitations because you was trying to get a lot of gifts and you weren't trying to buy your own shit for your baby? I'm saying, did you really have an event and have it that big because you were trying to pull a lot of gifts? Or did you send out that many invitations because you really had that many friends? And you need to stop hanging with cheap ass people. You know, those are your group of people that were invited to the shower. So if your group of people and your husband's group of people aren't supporting you all, you know, with a gift financially, you need a new group of friends. But trying to tell them to get the hell out because they didn't bring a gift, you knew what kind of people they were before you invited their ass.
All right. Raz, I'm gonna let you go next on this one. Do you want to leave it or medicate it?
Okay, leave it as what?
Leave it as you don't have a problem with her attitude towards people not bringing gifts and wanting people to get the hell out of the baby shower. Medicated is she needs to change her attitude and be appreciative of people just coming to the baby shower, just to show them support.
Yeah, I want to medicate it.
Okay, tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
Okay, first of all, you should have put that on your, invitation and say RSVP, please. You know, make sure you bring a gift because if you don't, then you won't be able to get in. Whatever. If that's your if that's what you want to do. To do it in front of everybody that this is supposed to be my loved ones. I think that was rude, and you want to embarrass somebody. Because what if like a lot of people just got up and was like, okay, bye. Like that just is not a good feeling and to do to somebody that you love. So she really should have just like came to them and was like, hey, I'm glad you came, but so she was making a very big deal. And then her husband, what really made me mad is when she snatched the mic away from him. So it was like you really upset about gifts and material,
All right, LT. What you got to say? You want to leave it or medicate it?
Hey, look, I'm gonna leave it.
All right, tell us why.
Are you ready? Go!
Because I'm probably one of them niggas that did get a gift, and I'm ready to leave anyway. So if I've already gotten my share of the little meatballs and the little sandwiches, I'm good to go. But on a serious note, I can respect it. Like, I don't have children. I've never had to plan a baby shower. And I've never had to plan for, weird case, I have had to plan for having a child. Crazy story. Didn't end up being mine. End of the story.
Okay.
But yeah, ended it real quick for you. But yeah, it's expensive. Diapers, Similac, clothes, all that shit. I could imagine. I would not ever judge anyone for wanting their loved ones, the people that claim to support them, the people that are going to want to be in the baby's life, I'm not going to hold it to everybody. Godparents, relatives, definitely. But I can definitely respect somebody saying, hey, if you didn't bring something, but I agree with everyone else, let them know beforehand. Like if I was supposed to bring a gift, how would I get in the door?
Right.
All right. I'm gonna be on your side on this, LT. I'm gonna have to leave it.
Are you ready? Go!
I'm only saying this because coming out there and throwing support, you can do that on any day, but this baby gonna need some gifts, need some diapers, need these Jordans, and need that beanie hat. Hell, you can just shoot him $1, shoot him something on Cash App. You can get something. Want a baby brush, a pacifier,
some socks.
You can afford something to give the baby. You know, it ain't easy in this world being a baby. You gotta, you know, I don't know how poor or rich they are, but yeah, you could have got them something. You could have got them a coupon off of baking soda or something for the baby moving forward. Keep the refrigerator fresh for the milk and all that. But you could have got something for the baby. I don't know if I would have say exactly kick them out, but I understand if you just come in for the festivities and the cake and the drinks, then to me it feels like you're just using them just for your own benefit. You're not really supporting anything.
Supporting these little meatballs.
Y'all can speak on it. What else y'all gotta say on it? What else y'all gotta say on it?
I mean, you know, it has to be an understanding first. And that's why I said if she put it on her, you know, invitation, okay. Like, look, y'all, I'm telling y'all I need some stuff for this baby. That's understood, but I wouldn't do it in front of everybody. I'd check the bags at the door.
She also said she had the same problem at the wedding, though.
Oh,
she said she had the same problem at the wedding, so that's why I said she need to get rid of her cheap ass friends because they didn't bring you no. But that shouldn't be all that you're doing it for. And as far as the baby needing diapers, Jordans, and all that, her husband should have thought about that before they was fucking. Like that's not everybody else's job.
That. You know,
that's not everybody else's job. You know what I'm saying? To clothes, you know what I'm saying? Clothes, feed, and diaper your baby. We ain't get no pleasure out of that shit.
Definitely agree. Let's normalize bringing children into this world when we can take care of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Having sex. Can your family bring Jordans to the baby shower? I don't know. Let's just stop having sex right now because I don't think your family's gonna be able to afford to bring good gifts to the baby shower. Oh, really? Right now? Yep.
Like Jordans? He needs.
That's
Jordans
why you need to know who you laying down with on the man and the woman's side.
Do you plan on that baby hooping anytime soon? Like, why does this infant need Jordans?
Right. I don't know. I can understand why she might have went too far because if she asked for a certain amount, if she was asking for Jordans, then I'm like, okay, now you ain't bringing your kids no Jordans now. You can get the great value shoes from Walmart, but I ain't bringing no Jordans.
Get Shaqs, which I'm not making fun of. Shaqs,
Shaqs, you can bring them those. But if you can, $1 would go. I would be appreciative of $1. I'd be appreciative of $10.
She wasn't gonna be appreciative of no dollar.
She probably wasn't. You probably right.
We don't know. Like
then she would have been calling them some cheap ass.
Yeah.
That would be a different video. Then we would be calling her wrong for if she was grateful or not. So it sounds like you know what I'm saying? It's a problem that you need to change the people you rolling with. Like this happened at the wedding. Like
that's what I said, at the wedding and the baby shower.
Because I want to.
Unless they happen real close, she could have been pregnant at the wedding, and so it might not have been that far apart. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only time I can understand it. Because if it's been years since y'all got married and you invite the same motherfuckers and they still ain't get you no gifts, but I'm imagining the pregnancy was real close, and that's why there was a marriage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but then again, you know, if your financial situation is the same for months at a time, even as an adult at a certain point, you know, maybe don't send them. Maybe you shouldn't have even came. You know what I'm saying? Like you had the money to get here, because let's be honest, you didn't come here in your everyday clothes. You got spiffy for this event. You got an outfit, you got your hair cut, you got your hair done, you got some makeup, you put gas in your car. You know what I'm saying? You spent money in order to get to the event. Yeah, the least you could have done is got a card, my nigga. Like shit,
gift card.
You can
now you want me to spend my money on you and your baby before I spend my money on myself?
Yes,
because you could make a card. Fuck, buy some paper,
crayon.
That's why they should have spent some money on themselves and got some condoms at the first go round, and then we wouldn't be having this situation at all.
You can't show up to the baby shower and be like, you shouldn't have had that nigga in the first place.
Right. They probably just want to celebrate the baby's life, and she was wanting more good.
I'll walk out. I'll leave gladly. Shit, fuck this baby.
Would you expect more to become brought to a wedding or a baby shower? Would you expect more people to bring more gifts to a wedding or a baby shower?
I think traditionally, I mean, it's hard to say because you kind of expect gifts at both. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, but I think I would
Baby
say more
shower.
for a kid, a
I would
baby.
say the wedding. I would think at the wedding you would think that people would get more big. Because think about it, a lot of times at wedding is maybe young people starting to life together. They might, let's say they
It's
ideal, and
families
neither one
coming
of them
together,
have
like, you
nothing,
know what I'm saying?
right? So it's one of them things where a lot of times people giving big gifts, so they're trying to help them start out.
Like, look at the way Jewish people have weddings. Like, they use a whole chair, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they pass out money. Mafia weddings. I was watching Goodfellas the other night. Mafia weddings. They pass out money and shit, and it's a real big deal. So in baby showers, it just seems like baby showers seem more about the food. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. It seems like more.
I was weddings are more like that.
I don't know. I haven't been to too many baby showers. I don't know that many babies.
I was about to say baby showers used to be all about a woman thing too. Now men are starting to be at the baby shower some too, but that shit's a little crazy. But yeah, like see, her husband was there at the baby shower. Like back in the day when people,
It's like
men didn't know baby showers.
Because that really was something that the women. The pregnant
women
woman and her friends, and this guy to sit, her mother and her sister, whoever the females. That's something they got to sit around and do because it was just like the ultimate act in femininity. Like they just thrive on it. Like you know what I'm saying. And men for pregnancy, we kind of just wait, kind of just show up. When needed.
That's why. It's like a Mother's Day before Mother's Day happens.
Yeah, like because there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into bringing a life in this world. That's why I feel like a wedding you get gifts at because it's for the two of you. And I definitely agree with that. A baby shower is it's honestly gifts for the baby and or the woman because she's the one bringing a life into this world. You contributed, you put your seed there, but she's passing this motherfucker along.
You did like 3% of the work, and she's doing the other 97%.
You're important, but she's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You're a good role player. You're John Stockton, but she's Karl Malone.
Good way to put it. All right, let's go to the last leave it or medicate it for the night.
Or medicated.
Okay, the Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears story. That's a touchy subject. Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears did a skit together where they're being sued, or actually the lawsuit got dismissed or dropped rather, where these kids like 7 and 12-year-old were in a skit together, and they were supposed to be Ari Spears was supposed to be like that bad uncle you're not supposed to leave the kid around.
Yeah.
And these kids, he was trying to show, I guess the point of the video was supposed to show what could happen if you just leave your kids around anybody, and the bad uncle specifically. And Ari Spears was a child molester, basically. And he was looking at these little kids. The kid was like 8 years old in the video. And I know people make jokes, comedians always make jokes about, molestation and stuff like that, and a bunch of other things. The problem, what I found with the video, I don't know. Has anybody seen the video? Let me ask that first.
I've seen it.
You've seen it? Okay.
For sure.
Anybody else seen it?
Nope.
I haven't.
Okay. I won't tell you to force yourself to go watch it. Basically, the problem what I had with the video is when you make jokes about certain things, just like molestation, child molestation, you're supposed to insinuate something happened. You don't show so much of an action to where it looks like it's like real life. And with this, they had a child in their underwear. They had a child in compromising positions and stuff, which is why I can't get with why they thought this skit was a good idea. It was a little boy, and he was in his underwear, and he was just in compromised position. He was in stupid positions as a child that no parent should allow, and no grown adult should allow. It the parent on top of that. The parent is the one that actually brought up a lawsuit years ago. And I actually think it was done for financial purposes. But if it wasn't for financial purposes, I actually think they could actually bring a charge against these people, Tiffany Haddish and Ari Spears. Although it was done in the name of comedy, I think they went a little too far with it. Sometimes comedians go a little bit too far. They don't know how far to take some jokes. And that just comes with practice, with doing certain things. Like I said, sometimes comedians go too far. And I don't think they did this in a malicious act. I can't say because I don't know them. But in this particular instance, I think they just went too far with what they had. The kid, I only saw one of the videos. I think there was supposed to be the other one, but I think they went too far with what they were comfortable letting the kid do in the video to make comedy. And him, bathtub, him, like I said, being in his underwear, that's just too much for me, even for the sake of comedy. You know, you can maybe talk about that and somehow spin that into something to make a joke about. And I understand some people was like, well, you shouldn't even make a joke about that, period. I get that. It's different when you see it on a visual thing. And I think that's what hit people the hardest, is seeing a visual of this. You know, because people joke about domestic violence, but it's until you actually see something on screen, it actually hits you harder than versus somebody actually talking about it. And this, Ari Spears, it just went too far. And I guess the leave it or medicated question would be, if you're going to try to make a skit or make comedy about something, should you ever even include kids to try to make something to be funny? If it's something like something as serious as child molestation or even abuse, should you even use kids in there? Or is there a manner you can make a joke about this without, I guess, using the kids in a bad manner? So do you, I know y'all said y'all hadn't seen it, but I'm trying to describe it to y'all the best as I can.
I don't agree, no, regardless. Okay. But they always make jokes about that, always. Even in Family Guy, that old creepy man.
I was honestly, Raz, I was going to say, if that's the case, we need to agree that molestation and child molestation jokes are not okay across the board. We let Seth MacFarlane cook with the old Herbert. Yeah, I know, right? She sparked it, and I was about to
give you time. We'll give you time. Let Raz go first, and you tell me what you think about it. Leave it as comedy should be able to go to the depths of certain subjects and make jokes about it, or do you think there's just some places you shouldn't be able to go? There's boundaries to certain things you can joke about. That would be medicated. So would you like to leave it or medicated on that?
You said medicated is like...
Medicated is there's certain jokes you should not be able to joke about.
I'm going to say leave it.
Okay, leave it. Go ahead.
Are you ready? Go!
I mean, to say a certain subject, comedian-wise, is off limits. It's not fair. They can joke about anything. They've been joking about stuff like that. So it's like comedy is just comedy, you know? Now, will I watch it? No, because I don't like seeing children being molested, or I don't agree with the jokes. You know, I don't get it, so I don't watch stuff like that. But it's been around for years. So why are we attacking them? Like, let's attack them, okay, for being reckless and not being considerate. But let's get Seth Farman, because he does it all the time. Mm-hmm. In American Dad, is some creepy stuff going on in that too. And what else? It's a lot of stuff, you know. But they can say what they want to say. That's, you know, comedians. I love comedians. You know, nothing is off limits. So.
Okay. LT, let you go next. What you think? Leave it, give comedians the free license to joke about anything you want, or medicate it. There should be boundaries on what you can joke about, especially on subjects like this.
I'm gonna leave it.
Are
Leave
you
it to people.
ready? Go!
Go ahead.
All the exact same sentiments. I'm a big fan of Dave Chappelle. I love the specials he did on Netflix, and he was a big proponent of asking the question, what, who, and like what can we joke about? Like, because we've been laughing at things for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have been laughing at Herbert the pervert. Look at the muscly on paper boy. Like, we've been laughing at these things for years, and you kind of, I ask myself as a conspiracy theorist, I ask myself much deeper questions like, why now? Like, this skit has existed for years. Why are we mad about it now? And the simplest answer is usually the correct one, and the one that's, staring you in the face. Ari Spears made some very rude, mean comments about Lizzo in an effort
Yep.
to be relevant, and people just never liked Tiffany Haddish. And I think it really boils down to, we accept the crimes from people we like, and we cancel people we just don't like. We kind of prey on the downfall of people we never liked to begin with.
Okay. All right, Sparky T, I'll let you go next. You want to leave it or medicate it when it comes to this subject?
I'm medicating it.
Okay, tell us
Are
why.
you ready? Go!
I agree that comedy is comedy. And I kind of think they should be able to laugh or tell jokes about whatever. But I don't agree with they've been doing it forever, or we've been laughing about it forever. Because just because somebody's been doing something forever doesn't make it right. Just be, this racism been there forever, but that doesn't make it right just because it's been going on forever. You know what I'm saying? You can't just because something's been going on forever, does it just make it acceptable? That's when we just accept anything. We get to where we don't have any morals or any standards because everything is just acceptable. I get the being funny thing. I think that if you're gonna do it, there may be a way to do it. Like if they was gonna try to do that skit, why Tiffany Haddish couldn't been dressed up as a little girl, and they had a third person to be the mom that left their child there. So you still putting out the same sentiment, but you're not using a young ass kid to do it. There's a way to do the things you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a good point.
Very good point.
I'm going to medicate.
Are you ready? Go!
Basically, jumping off of what Sparky T said, just because something's been done a long time don't make it right. Same thing she said about slavery, whatever. I can remember in the 90s, Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg went through quite a controversy when they did blackface at this Friars Club thing. And Ted Danson dressed up as blackface. Whoopi Goldberg actually supported it. That's when they were dating at one point. Of course, blackface was a comedic relief for a lot of people in comedy, white people especially, more so than anything. So they didn't think it was a big deal. They thought it would be funny. A lot of people were upset, mostly black people. Not Montel Jordan, but Montel Williams, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He was there with his white wife, and they particularly did not like this. Again, like she said, just because it was done in the past does not make it right to do now. There are other ways you could have made light of the subject without including the parties that it's actually going to offend children. You didn't have to put children in there. And I like her idea. You could have put Tiffany Haddish or some other adult pretending to be a child to make your point. So I do think it was going a little bit too far, actually putting real children in there. And it's always different when it's visual. Like, you remember, I don't even remember the guy, it was a running back from the Baltimore Ravens, the one that hit his wife in the elevator. Mm-hmm. And at first, we heard about it. There was a story about it. And I think they were going to suspend him for like 2 games, maybe 3 games or so. And it was no big deal. It was like, okay, he'll be out a few games and then he'll be back in the game and put back in the team or whatever, playing like he was before. Then that video came out and it just hit harder for some reason. I understand why, but it hit harder, and he's never played another down in the NFL. It's just something about seeing a visual of something versus hearing about it. It just hits people harder. So I would say if you're going to make a joke about something, find a better way to display the joke. It's always better, I think. Yeah, say Dave Chappelle and pretty much all comedians in that the realm where I guess you would call it dirty jokes or whatever. They do it all the time. It's different when you see it in a visual aspect versus just telling a joke. Hits
but
people.
Does this not reflect real? Because if we're applying this same logic, movies like It shouldn't exist. Because why are we okay with seeing children be murdered?
Yeah.
Why is that okay? Like
Joking
shows
matter.
like Stranger Things, and these are actual children that are being used. They're acting, yes, but they're in intense scenes of graphic violence and gore. There are children that literally play in movies where they say the N-word, hard ER. Like we see so, and I'm not saying when I say leave it, I'm not saying it is okay, but why are we okay seeing other forms of media, or why are we okay seeing children depicted in negative forms? Like one of the biggest shows that literally Comedy Central has been banking off of South Park for years. Now, granted, these are adults doing the voices, but it still depicts children. And guess who that show really reaches? Children. Like that's what I was watching as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know these are grown people doing the voices, it's still a reflection of me as a child. But this is something that is okay. And again, not saying it's okay and we should just let it rock. But why is it that we are upset about this from Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears right now? Why is it that more people are very okay with? Why aren't we blaming the parents and the people involved? Like why we're perfectly fine blaming the parents when it comes to the R. Kelly cases. Well, they know they knew what kind of person R. Kelly was. You knew what this script entailed. And again, we see these things happen in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry all the time. We are perfectly fine signing our children, signing ourselves up, signing our pets up. If y'all got a chance to go see the movie Nope, Jordan Peele's Nope. Like it's very telling of how we treat animals in the I'd say we, but yeah, how humans treat animals in the entertainment industry. We depict them in real forms or the most entertaining forms, and I am in no way condoning jokes about child molestation, because yeah, I do think there should be a line on what is okay and what is not okay. That should come from a moral standpoint. You know what I'm saying? There are things that I'm not going to laugh at. I saw this sketch. Did I think it was funny? No. Did I think it was super terrible? And oh my God, I'm about to how can they do this? No. Because again, let's be honest. A lot of people are victims of this kind of molestation, are they not?
Right.
I literally grew up watching a sketch on In Living Color making fun of Michael Jackson, played by Tommy Davidson, for it was a play on Home Alone with Michael Jackson, where he's breaking into the house to molest Macaulay Culkin. It was hilarious. I think it was hilarious.
Right. Were the kids in there depicting the children, or was somebody adults playing the role?
It was a child playing the role of stand-in Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, but I can see what you're saying, but putting a child,
I think it's because we don't like Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. I really think, because like you said, there's a monetary thing to be involved. Like we love going there any other time. Like I said, we love victim blaming when it's people that we like. We love excusing the crimes and misdeeds of people that are in our favor at the moment. But and I've seen people say this all the time, they've never found Tiffany Haddish funny. They don't think she's talented. Everyone agrees with Cat Williams, and they have their right to. You're not, hey, comedy is subjective. If you don't think she's funny, you're completely allowed to that. But we have to be honest. When people are in negative opinion with us, it is much easier for us to jump on the bandwagon of hating them. And I'm not condoning their video, because again, it wasn't funny. If we just want to throw tomatoes at it because it was trash, that's cool. But let's not act like they did something we don't constantly excuse on a daily basis. Because if that's the case, Nickelodeon should be shut down.
I got what you're saying, but there's
I love Nickelodeon.
To have a kid in their underwear and spreading their legs and stuff like that's far past
Too
what
far.
Have you ever seen The Exorcist? To have a child literally depict themselves as being possessed by a demon is sacrilege in our Christian society.
It wasn't a comedy though. This was
You're right. It wasn't a comedy, but it's
it.
still something like, so it has to be, so only comedies are the things we're worried about. Comedies have to be the things where we can't touch
I don't know
touchy
I don't know
subject.
if it's just that comedies can't, but at the same time you laughing at somebody else's pain.
Exactly.
Like you said, this is a real like you said, this is a real life thing that some people are living. So there are people that have lived this situation. There are people that have been molested by family members. There are people that are either trying to heal, all of those type of things. And I know sometimes people laugh to keep from crying, but you're not laughing with me, you laughing at me, and we got to think that certain things shouldn't be the butt of a joke. And I get it. I get all things can be funny, but you still gotta at some point. When is it like when do we say it's not okay? Like when is enough enough? I mean, think about it. Even with murderers and mafioso people, the women and children were off limits. There's honor amongst thieves. I mean, even in things that you do, there's still a certain way that you carry it, and to drag the children into it has always been a very cowardice things that people usually don't do.
The exorcism and Stranger Things, those were done in a way to warn you what could happen. Exorcism was done to put fear in you, scare you. This Harry Spears and Tiffany Haddish thing was done strictly for comedy. It wasn't done to say these are the outcomes.
It wasn't a cautionary tale.
Yeah, it was done strictly to be funny. Harry Spears was up there licking his tongue out at a child and jumping in the bathtub with a child naked. Presumably,
I find it funny that we can all point out that it is literally made to be funny, but we want them to be persecuted and tried for it as if they committed the actual offense. Because again, there are people in our lives like Kevin Hart literally has a special called "Laugh at My Pain." He makes fun of the fact that his father is on cocaine or, crack. There are a lot of people who deal with that. Can we not say Kevin Hart is making fun of people who are children of drug addicts?
Yes.
Like what? So again, it's when we start to say like, what can we say and what can we not say? Again, not condoning that. If this is the thing, then we should ban it across all boards.
But it still
Cat
wasn't.
Williams made fun of handicapped children that didn't have legs. Poor little Tink Tink. We love that shit though. So it's okay to make fun of handicapped people, but not like again. We're picking what traumas are okay to laugh at.
It's not the making fun of them part. It's the putting the kid in the video, portraying the act. We're back to saying things like The Exorcist. We're okay with seeing kids being portrayed as being raped by a demon. We're okay with that. It's not you're right. It's a horror, but it's still something we're ingesting. It's still something we're making a child endure. We're telling a child, hey, say your mother sucks cocks in Hades. We're telling a child to say that, and we're okay with it. But that's okay because it's meant to scare us. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But we're upset that this is supposed to be funny, and we're just, this isn't funny. No, we don't like this, so this is bad. Not to put a kid in that, no.
But even with the movies like The Exorcism and Poltergeist and stuff like that, years later, they found out that the little girl that played Carrie Ann, her ass wasn't never the same after they played the movies and stuff like in Poltergeist. So why keep subjecting children to things when we know that when you do subject them to things like that, it can have an effect later on in life? No. I'm just saying. So my thing is why I'm only saying it's wrong in the putting the little boy in there in the video. It's to say I'm not saying that they were right with the exorcism. I don't think that they're right with the subjecting the little kids to that. I also don't think they was right with subjecting this little kid to the video. They just took it too far. I'm not saying that it's not something like I said. You could have made it a funny topic. They just shouldn't have put the kid in the video. And the parents shouldn't have let them put the kid in the video.
I completely agree. I completely agree with everything y'all are saying. I just think it's incredibly telling how quickly we were able to pull the sword down on Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish, and yet this has been going on for decades, as long as film and entertainment have been being made. Game of Thrones. You literally watch people that are acting as siblings, so having it engaging in incest. Like, these are things we're okay with seeing, but we are able
Not
to
everybody's okay with seeing it.
we practice cognitive, but nobody is on trial for Game of Thrones. Nobody is on trial for that. And you said the woman that played.
There's no kids doing incest on Game of Thrones, though. There's kids naked.
But back to the children that we place in horror movies, because let's be honest, horror movies 9 times out of 10 always involve children. They make it scarier. The Conjuring movies, the Annabelle movies, they always have kids in them, and they are always little girls being depicted. And if you understand the biblical sense of being possessed by a demon, it is raping them. That is rape. That is also a sexual assault. And just because it's scary, we let it ride. We don't put any horror movie directors on trial for using actual children in these scenes of rape. Why not?
It's not even just, this is acting, for one. It's not real. Here's the thing.
This was acting. It's not real. This was acting. It's not real.
But there's no point that I want to be in a room with a child, especially that's not mine, in their underwear, acting or not. I don't want to be in a room with a child in their underwear and then moving their legs and gyrating stuff, acting or not. That's wrong.
So we should definitely get rid of Danny Glover because of The Color Purple. We should definitely get rid of Eve's Bayou because of what was going on in there, right?
Wait, what part in there where they're gyrating and twerking and spreading?
Okay, but these are movies that also depict and handle the topics of child molestation.
There's insinuating and there's actually doing. There was no insinuation in this video.
So because it's actually being actually doing is what we see on To Catch a Predator. When you pull up to the house to, go have sex with a minor, that's actually doing. These people are acting as well. This actor, Aries Spears, he's been in movies, so we can legitimately say he is an actor.
They were actually doing it. That wasn't acting. They were doing that. They were in their underwear.
How can you say so? They were actually grooming that child to be molested by both of them.
I didn't say they were grooming. I said I don't want to be in any room, acting or not, with a kid in their underwear. I'm not comfortable with any kid in their underwear in any room with me at all, acting or not, trying to insinuate molestation or not. I don't want to be in any room with a kid in their underwear.
And we can say they made a poor judgment in the role that they took. But there are, as we literally just looked at some famous white actors play roles that are not of their race. You know what I'm saying? Like Brad Pitt was in a movie called The Mexican. Tom Cruise was in a movie called The Last Samurai. Like, if we're going, like, we accept so much from people that we love. We say it's just acting. Again, we were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio playing a slave owner in Django. He played it so well, so we gave him a pass because, but slavery is a real thing. That's something that shouldn't be made fun of. But we were sitting here making jokes about not jokes in this movie, but they were funny to us.
That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing because comedy is subjective. You can say that because comedy is subjective.
Acting or not with a kid in their underwear. They shouldn't be in a room with a kid.
I wouldn't want to be in a scene where I have to kill another black man. But Django
that's acting.
That's acting. These are so how do we get to call what they're doing acting and what this is doing not acting?
Easy,
are comedians not actors? Like, do we not consider not?
I don't have a problem with the joke. I have a problem with a kid in their underwear at any time, whether it's a joke,
bad role. But we don't crucify. We don't put people on trial for the bad roles that they choose that are illegal. Like, we don't put people on trial for playing drug dealers. That's something you shouldn't do.
Playing a drug dealer versus being in a room with a kid naked. That's not the same thing.
Sometimes they use real drugs, so you're in the room with real drugs.
They don't use real drugs. Come on.
Motherfucking Alec Baldwin killed a dude on set. They literally used a real gun.
That was an accident, though. That wasn't supposed to be a real bullet.
So
that was an accident.
So we'd be having a different conversation if if Aries Spears' dick actually flopped out, but someone actually died on set, and Alec Baldwin, whom I fucks with Alec Baldwin the long way. I love his Trump impersonations, and I love Beetlejuice. I do. He's dope as shit, but he killed the dude on set.
That was an accident.
That he was acting.
This wasn't acting though. I don't again.
But no one was hurt in the process of this. They didn't actually molest these children.
But they were naked.
That don't mean they weren't hurt though, because they didn't actually molest them.
Then again, we should stop allowing children into the entertainment industry altogether. Because depict a scene of them being depicted by, like, a scene of them being raped by a demon, a scene of them being covered in anything, a scene of them being assaulted, a scene of them being beaten up, a scene of them being called a nigger, a scene of anything that anyone has dealt with in real life that brings about real trauma. And if we're going to use children in it, we shouldn't do it anymore.
Okay,
that's what we're saying.
There's certain things I can agree with you with on that we should not have kids doing it there. If you're talking about a kid,
so we need to persecute everybody. A lot of people need to be on trial. I think it's crazy.
That doesn't make this right, though.
It doesn't make it. I'm not calling it right at all. At no point did I call it right. I want to make that clear. At no point was this right. Like I said, you chose a bad role. This is fucking stupid. This is equivalent. Like, instead of wearing blackface, you're wearing child molester face. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was not a good role for you to choose. But if that's the case, if we're going to, this is literally like being able to persecute rappers for their lyrics. This is the equivalent of that.
That's happening.
Because at what point do we start saying, okay, they're rapping about this, but that doesn't mean they're actually doing it?
If they're actually doing it, then they should be persecuted for that too.
But they can always say they're not. They can always say that's just my art. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this ain't art, though. This is kids in underwear. There's no
much like comedy
or not. And if I just walk into a room and a kid is in their underwear, I am uncomfortable. I do not want.
Then that means a lot of niggas are rapists, because I've seen so many movies where so many actors play rapists. So these dudes are rapists.
This is where you're getting them. This is where you're getting conflated. Playing something is not the same as this act happened. Playing or not, I would not be comfortable with it. Playing or not.
I would, and again, I agree. I would not be comfortable playing certain roles either. At what point do we start persecuting other people? Like, at what point can we put people on trial for playing? It's like, ooh, I don't like that they played a rapist in that movie, so we need to, like, and we literally just dug this up as soon as he said something negative about Lizzo, which on this hand, he shouldn't have said it. That was stupid. You was literally, they asked you about her fucking music and you took that chance to make a fucking fat joke. So, you know what I'm saying? The universe.
I don't know if that's true or not. That may be true.
Like, the universe don't like negativity. You know what I'm saying? Like, things from your closet will come back to haunt you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is the ramifications of spewing negativity into the universe. Negativity is meeting you at your doorstep. So I don't feel bad for them. I just want people to understand, it's like, if that's the case, we need to hold everything and everyone to a higher standard. Everything needs to catch up. We need to really be done with R. Kelly. Then we need to really let him go.
Oh, well, I've been done with that. I mean, but I think the equivalent.
There's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that strictly blame the parents.
I know, but I think the equivalent to that, to this kid doing what he was doing in that video, the equivalent of that, if we want to carry back to Alec Baldwin, is to say, okay, I'm going to do a skit of me shooting someone and him purposely shooting someone, not acting like he's shooting somebody, purposely shooting one. That, to me, that's the equivalent of having a damn near naked child in a video, or someone
like acting like you're shooting someone and purposefully shooting someone are kind of distinctions without a difference. Because if I'm acting like it, I'm pointing the gun at you. And I'm acting like I am going to, like, regardless of how we are trying to slice what Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears were doing, they were not playing Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. They were playing young girl and pervy old man. These were characters that they were playing.
I could pretend to shoot you right now and you're comfortable because you know nothing's going to happen to you, or there's nothing bad about me just doing this.
That's because you're not in the same room with me holding a loaded gun to me.
I'm saying just doing this. That's pretending. him with those little kids being naked, acting or not, is bad.
We
If
kind
it
of
was
wouldn't
just a
go see
regular room
movies
with
if they weren't
kids, it's
realistic,
bad.
though. Like, we love fantasy. Like, we kind of wouldn't go see movies if there wasn't an element of real. Like, if you went to go see movies all the time and they had adults, and we literally make fun of that. We literally make fun of, like, remember shows like 90210 and Melrose Place, all these grown ass people playing teenagers and shit. Like, we literally make fun of adults playing children, and we say all the time, like, for years, even nerds, we've wanted a teenage Spider-Man. Now, why would you Spider-Man? If you read those comic books, Spider-Man is a tragic motherfucking hero. This nigga is broke as shit. He got dead parents and dead uncle, mad dead girlfriends. Friends always turn into supervillains. His life is shit. Why would you want to and he's a representation of the kind of things that teenagers all go through. Those relatable growing pains of growing the fuck up. But to put an actual teenager through the rigors of not only portraying this kind of thing, portraying these intense, emotional, traumatic, action-packed moments, adjusting their diet, adjusting their schedule, adjusting their routine, but also, assimilating to a world like Hollywood, to an entertainment world. Why would we want anyone to go through that much strain and struggle? But we do that because we want it to be realistic. Now, I don't make movies. I don't have the fund and capital to do so. Again, this starts at a much higher level of people who have no problem employing people to do things they don't want to do themselves, or things that will entertain them. A lot of our industry is built based upon slavery. Yes, like that's kind of what we're entertaining. We're entertaining people, and a lot of how we are entertained reflects our real life. And so much of what we were first being entertained by was fantasy. So I've literally been scrolling through my timeline and been seeing nothing but people geeked about watching a Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix. A dude that killed and murdered black people. And the main people that I see loving this show are black women. Now, there are people that actually have been affected by the murders of Jeffrey Dahmer. But we are literally tweeting and memeing and turning this nigga into a trend. We're immortalizing him even more so through our entertainment. Why is there no issue with that?
Because it's not kids.
Because it's not a kid.
Did you ever see the documentary on Netflix? I think it was called The Street Walker, Street Killer. The guy from California. That was
Robert Rodriguez, Night Stalker.
Yeah,
Night Stalker.
And did you remember seeing
I haven't seen this documentary. He pops up a lot in American Horror Story.
You should watch it. There's a certain part, I think it may be like a 4-part series, but there's a certain part in there where there are women who fell in love with him and were writing him letters and wanted to marry him.
What they said was he was actually quite attractive to them. He honestly didn't have to rape. That's what they were saying. But that's what they were saying. Like, he was. But he just got off on it. He was a devil worshiper. He was 666.
But there are people like that. There are weird people like that. Women that was just because he murdered people and it was like, oh, he's a bad guy.
Shit, the Zac Efron Ted Bundy movie had women sitting there second guessing. I don't really think he did it.
All right.
All because it was fucking Zac Efron.
Yeah, but those are stupid people, so I don't want to include them.
But these are the powers of acting. Like, we are literally second guessing the true crimes of true criminals, all because we like how they were depicted by people that we love.
No, I can't put that in. And the thing is, I like Ari Spears. I like Tiffany Haddish.
I like I like when he does impersonations. I love watching the Shaq All-Star Comedy Special every once in a while. Yeah, some old Mad TV clips.
I don't think he should be totally canceled because of this, because he made a mistake, but it was a big mistake. I just don't agree with that. I mean, because everybody's going to do something you don't like. I just think this is just a bump in the road that hopefully they get past. I don't know if he's going to get past it as easy as Tiffany Haddish, because Tiffany Haddish kind of jumped out in front of him and said she made a mistake and she shouldn't have done it, and that's fine. Take accountability for it. Ari Spears has been kind of quiet on. He didn't really say anything.
Oh no, he's been all over Vlad.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this, yeah, he's been all over Vlad, but that's how he kind of keeps his name in the business. lately.
Isn't that where this shit all started?
He's actually in Raleigh right now. He's got a show in Raleigh, and if you go look at the comments, I don't know if this is going to be reflective of his ticket sales, but a lot of people sound like, I'm not going to the show, and most of everybody,
and they have that right. They don't have to. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the biggest Aries Spears supporter before this. I wasn't going to shows. I wasn't. Again, I can't name an Aries Spears comedy special, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the biggest Tiffany Haddish fan. I've just been aware that people don't like Tiffany. No, people say Tiffany Haddish isn't funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's real telling that immediately after you make fun of America's sweetheart Lizzo, I have nothing negative to say about Lizzo whatsoever. I think she's a beautiful woman.
You're gonna
immediately after, and again, very stupid mistakes. So you can kind of see this man has a pattern of making stupid mistakes. Like
he does.
Needless mistakes and bad choices in subjective comedy.
Yes. He doesn't have a filter, which is probably why he's going through what he's going through right now, because both of them I felt should have had a filter when making this video. And there's a reason why it never came out. There's a reason why, Laugh or Die, the company they tried to submit it to, never.
The woman that's suing needs to be prosecuted too because she agreed to it. That's child endangerment.
Oh yeah, and she's tried to sue them multiple times. And actually, the last time it was the two kids that were in the videos, because there's another video
kid suing her as well. Everyone needs to be sued. Everyone involved needs to be sued. Cameraman needs to be sued. Everyone involved needs to be sued, not just the two people we know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not even speaking on that. You're right. I don't agree with. I do think they were doing it for a money grab, especially 7 years later. But in the end, I still don't think. I don't agree with how they did this. I don't have a problem with them making a joke about this per se, because every comedian makes jokes about this most of the time. Even what's the name was Danny Tanner from Full House. He made jokes about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different when it's audio versus visual. For some reason, it's a human thing. But yeah, I wish they could have done this in a different way. They're creative enough where they could have found something different to do with this.
As a black person, I've been affected by racism on many levels. But I tell you what, I love watching Everybody Hates Chris. And that show is literally just laugh at the racist shit I dealt with as a child.
That's true. That's what Chris
comedy is subjective. And there's a lot of people that don't like Chris Rock at all. There's a lot of people that don't find Chris Rock funny at all.
There you go. The subjective part. You can like it or you can hate it.
And if something were to come out about Chris, boom, when Chris Rock got slapped in the fucking face, people were very quick to say, well, he deserved it because that fucking documentary about hair and how he did his wife and all of that shit and what he said about hair. Like, when it happens to people that we don't like at the moment, we are perfectly fine with throwing we're perfectly fine with throwing fuel on the fire.
Right. Okay. Well, we're got one more thing we're gonna speak on. Actually, we're not.
I was gonna ask one quick question about that one. Do we know who wrote it?
Who wrote it? I'm not
sure. Did either one of them write it? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's even as far as it being a bad role. But did you write it? You know
like I said, anybody involved, because these people work with writers a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. That's what made me ask. That's why, that's why my question was, did they, or do we know if they did or not? Because if you wrote it, like, you even got more to go with it. Like, you knew how far it was going to go and you didn't choose to be in that role. Like, you wrote it for yourself and for somebody else.
No, I'm not sure who wrote it.
We don't talk about these people because these aren't the people that we want in trouble.
They're the behind the scenes people.
Behind the scenes, comfortable.
Yeah, sometimes, but I don't know. I think we all said that ultimately it's bad. You know what I'm saying? That they had the children in the video. I think we all came to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying? We just a little bit different on, to the depths of how we think they should have handled it. But I think ultimately all of us on the forum are saying, it was wrong for them to use them kids in that way. We ain't condoning that.
It's not giving it a pass at all. It's not, like I said, I'm not defending it. Like I didn't laugh at it. It wasn't funny. Like I wasn't like, oh shit. It's like I was like, yeah, this. I could see how they thought this would be funny. I know this probably happens in real life, and I can definitely see why at this time right now, this is the wrong shit to have come out about you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go off to the last segment of the night, the deepest thought. The video we're going to show, not really going to put much thought behind this because I don't think the people in this video put much thought behind what they were doing. You ever watch that show? I think it's let me see if I can look it up. TLC show where the moms always are hanging out with the daughters and stuff. It's almost like they got too deep of a relationship with their moms. Like they just hang out, they go to clubs together and stuff like that.
Is it based in Florida?
It's called Smothered. That's what it's called.
Perfect name. I feel like if it's not based in Florida, it should be because that is literally where you find 36-year-old moms and 24-year-old daughters.
Yeah, well, I'll let you look at this clip, small clip. Tell me briefly what you think about it. Do you think you would have, well, not you, LT, but do you think it's a good thing for daughters and mothers to be this close?
I adore my daughter. Okay. There is no boundaries between us.
You want to come in? Okay. When we take a bath together, it feels like a spiritual connection to continue the bond.
Oh, I love it. 80% of her wardrobe comes from me.
She does a lot of the shopping in this relationship.
We'll never stop the twinning. That's our thing. Okay, all right.
But
oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Try to get her nipple ring off.
It's been on more than one occasion where I've walked in on them and they're like messing with someone's boob, or my mom taking a picture of my sister's hemorrhoid.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on that one. Yeah, quick thought on what do you think about that? Do you think you would ever be, Sparky T, you got one. Do you think you would ever be that close to your daughter like that?
Hell no. That's nasty. It's just certain things that you shouldn't do. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I get the closeness and all that. What you doing in the bathtub with your mama? What you doing in the bathtub with your mama? You grown. Like y'all both big and grown. Even some of the dancing. You know what I'm saying? I get people be dancing or whatever, but something even came out one time about how Kodak was dancing with his mama.
You do the cha-cha slide. You don't do a close-up one-on-one dance.
Yeah,
Kodak was grabbing his mama by her whole
yeah, Kodak was grabbing his mom's butt. Like when he was dancing with his mom, so that's why I was like, yeah, I ain't with that either. It's like, nah.
That Oedipus.
That's too much, man. That I would never be that close.
I don't want to judge
see
it
because
too much.
It's one of them things that make you think of what y'all doing off camera. If y'all that open on camera, and one mom said we don't have no boundaries. What you mean?
Yeah, like cause where is the boundary? Like, what will you not do then? That's kind of what I want to know. And you know what? That's a search on a different type of website.
Right. That's too much. That's too much.
And I don't want to judge it too harshly because this could be their culture. Well, you know what? Some of those women looked American. Some of like the white women were American.
Some of them were American.
Yeah, they were American.
Hey, I was gonna play the culture card at the beginning too, because I was like, well, maybe it's a different culture. But then I was like, when this rest of them came, I was like, nope.
Yeah, the white women are definitely from here, but the Spanish women. But then again, I don't know Spanish. I don't know what type of Spanish. There's a lot of Spanish. I don't know. They could be from South America.
They don't be taking baths together with each other in their 20s and 30s. Come on now.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know black women don't do it, so I don't know. And that's the type of women I date. So
you date
that's
the women.
Crazy. Nah.
That's what they're
are there black women on this show? I didn't see any in the clip.
Not on this particular clip.
I didn't see any on there.
You know what? I think it's really hard to find black women that like black women like mothers and daughters that close for this show, and I'm fine with that. This is representation
Oh,
we
they got
don't need.
some. I've seen some
Damn.
episodes. They got some. Now I haven't seen them where they take baths together, but they like sleep in the same bed and they go out
That's
to
fine.
club together and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that.
That's typical. I've seen that. I've seen mothers and daughters go out in club. That's cool.
That's too much.
Florida.
Mother in the club, and y'all picking up the same person, probably sleeping with the same. That gives a whole different perspective.
It's not cool,
same
but
girl.
it's more. I've seen it more. Like there's because again, a lot of teen pregnancy is a thing, so it happens. So there are a lot of young mothers with daughters that develop early, like they're in their 20s. By the time they're in their early 20s, their mom is only in their mid 30s and shit. So yeah, and women just are naturally attracted to being in areas that are more mature. So like they like being because they develop faster than us. So even a girl that's 22, she's gonna want to be around older men. So if you got a younger mom, you might be around some of the men that she's around. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's I don't know if I even call that mature. You be 50 years old, you should have different goals and different mindset to somebody's in their 20s, whether they grew up fast or not. That's just
but
different.
Because they got I can speaking from all the children that I've given birth to, I can say that when you have a child early, you know what I'm saying, you kind of lose you don't get to experience those aspects of life that that late adolescence, that early adulthood, you know what I'm saying? You spend it being responsible for a whole nother life. So when they're finally late adolescence, early adulthood, it's almost like, bitch, let's be friends now. Like that's what I've seen. And from the children that I've given birth.
She should be, see, this is the problem here. See, the mother should be the one staying at home watching her kid maybe while she goes out or playing bingo or some shit. They shouldn't have the same goals.
You want this to be an old ass mom.
Yeah, I need the one that has the Monica Church shoes, the Monica Church sandals on this time. She don't be wearing no 5-inch heels going to the club because she could fall and break something. Osteoporosis is a real thing.
Wow, that's okay. That's a country ass disease.
You said a country disease.
That's the most country ass disease I've ever heard in my fucking life. That disease comes with a side of lard and molasses.
What the hell? And it's got to be some word for that. It's not racist, but I don't know, countryist or something like that. I'm gonna make up a word. I'll find one.
Regionist.
I'm a
regionist.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up on that note. Appreciate everybody coming out, getting some hostile therapy, not because you want it, but because you need it. And we will see you on the next episode. I'm already gonna tell y'all what the next show is gonna be about. You wanna know what's gonna be about?
Oh
yeah.
And so I think LT, I think you said you saw it. And Sparky T, I hope you get to see it too. It's gonna be on the Woman King.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it. I saw it.
Okay.
I went and saw it in 4D RP that where the chairs move and blow the air on you and all that when they fighting. Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. It was real good.
We got new chants now. Yeah.
You went to go to the movie theater like that. That means you got to be able to bring gifts to the baby shower. You fought in movie theaters like that.
I ain't going to the baby shower empty-handed.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on, giving your opinions tonight. Nobody died. Nobody got shot tonight based off of their opinion. So that was a good thing. So
it was a good day.
See y'all next Thursday, 7:00. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Peace.